Hello everybody, welcome back to, what was it called? Vast Error. Oh, hold on, let me get this. There we go. So last time, a lot of stuff went down. Everyone's entered into the medium. We saw a bunch of Snowbound characters, which was fucking awesome. And now we're at this really weird part, and, it's kinda... don't know what's going on, do we? Anyway. 2, 3, oh, come on. Yes, right on it. Oh, got our first HTML thingy. Are you all ready? Oh, it's my birthday in 6 days. Yeah. Here we go. So that's that's that. Intermission 2, Side 1. So we're going to follow the Dead Shufflers, who, if you don't know, they're the gang on Durs that Murrit was a part of until he, kind of fucked him over. And these characters are actually from Homestuck as well, although that they were called the Midnight Crew. Yeah. Now, obviously going to put the Dead Shufflers playlist on for this. This is actually one of my favourite sections of the comic, and I know a lot of people don't like it. I think there's a lot of really good parts in this. I may be biased because I'm an Intermission fan from Homestuck. And then again, I'm not really a Homestuck fan anymore, so I don't know. Your name is Scathing Sharper. You're a leader of an infamous group of white-collar kingpins currently known as the Dead Shufflers. You've been invited to a liminal space called the Hotel California for a final showdown after many vicious universal cycles of being negged by your arch-nemesis. You refuse to disclose their name aloud, lest you grant them any further relevance or satisfaction. Well, so it's just like Homestuck. Your associates, defrauding dealer, hustlebones, and charm defalcator, have been expedited to scour the place from every conceivable angle and strip it of valuable assets. Your objective is to then eradicate their anomaly source and end this cat-and-mouse charade once and for all. Salesmen worth their stock know their livelihoods depend on their pitch. So tonight you're offering up liquidation services to any clientele you can reach, free of charge. Also, something I gotta explain. In this section, when it was getting released, there were parts where viewers could input a command that might get used. It was basically what Homestuck was like in its early days. One of my commands got in, and I'll tell you when we reach that. Find a door and get the hell out of here. Suddenly, you feel as if you're thrust into an alternate universe where everything is the same, only the doors in this specific room are replaced with brick walls. This is exactly what happens. SS, ensure that your arch nemesis has prepared lots of spaghetti. Ensuring chumps is your racket, not theirs. Besides, looking for certainty is pointless when you're dealing with a lawless place like this accursed shithole. You surely made sure of the lack of surety, certainly. SS promptly realised the floor is lava. No, nothing quite as lethal as that just yet, but it seems like your buddy, so you start the psychological warfare. There's copious amounts of special sauce within these pits. As a proud diner dweller, you're offended, nay, slighted. Last you checked, Thousand Island is definitely not anything to write home about, much less a condiment worthy of interior design. It's mayonnaise and ketchup for crying out loud. The only thing that offends you is why it's here to begin with. They must know about what you did at the last Christmas party. This somehow got even more personal to you. SS, inspect geographically relevant sun-dried musicians. No doubt yet another petty attempt to get your goat. Little do they realise what kind of beast they're dealing with. Your goat is not one of average, but of collection. A county fair winner, a prodigious son of Beauvais. You do not look like this. You're liable to get more than a back end for the theatrical whiplash you just put your neck through, looking away from this four-note cabaret band of wrinkled nitwits in utter disgust. Actually, me. Shuffle. Oh. You attempt to exact vengeance on the raisins by losing them in the sauce. As you just try to deface property for your own gain, your reverse vandal side technique inadvertently jumps into action. Your proficiency continues to be as victimless as it appears. Hold on. I'm just checking the volume. Turn it down just a tiny bit. The raisins are instead allocated to the cue card you keep in your breast pocket. It informs you that if you collect 32 more of them, you will instantly win a lifetime supply of AstroTurf. It's so fucking random. SS, deface portrait of loathsome rat. Well, I wouldn't give her the chance. Sally, you didn't pack any conventional weapons for this little business trip. You don't need to be collecting any other reality-bendingly useless knickknacks. You already have plenty of those. This is not a place you want to start randomly sticking your hands in. Your regular tools of trade are assorted scrapes are effectively useless here. Like it or not, you're playing by their rules. Just a note, the arch nemesis goes by they, them. So remember that. SS, pick up the phone. You've got calls to make. You boot up the Nickelodeon computer, overcome with a downright criminal urge to look at price equivalencies and the latest stock figures. You're already this far down the hole. What's the extra digging? I'm pretty sure that's more of a DD thing. I'm not sure if that's just me though. And again, this SS is not the same SS from Homestuck. SS, go to deconreconstruction.com. The hotel's routing scheme seems to only allow you access to Ask Jeeves. Wonder how deep this Jeeves fellow's well of knowledge goes. Because you find his utilitarian yet formal attire to be very in line with your personal tastes. I actually tried to input a command here as ask where the hotel staff are, but that didn't work. No, they didn't like that one. SS, ask Jeeves about the hotel's checkout policy. We are all just prisoners here of our own device. Oh, the third one, profit. Why do you do this shit? What is the traditional Western symbolism behind this shit? Like, where can I buy doing this on video or DVD? Jeeves hits you with not one but 3 answers. All of them are equally useless as fun as you are of the third one on an ordinary day, because you can say goodbye to this potential loophole. In retrospect, it might have been a bad idea to split up, but you're not known for your expert catering to constructive criticism. You're known for rigging roulette machines and taking out policies on elderly greyhounds. SS, search up floor plan of the hotel. Tell you what, another reason I do like this section a lot is because I'm a very big fan of gangster flicks, and this reminds me a lot of things like Goodfellas. Oh, that's tripping me out, bro. What the fuck, man? Best to get this sort of information through trial and error. You know by now that from the outside looking in, there really isn't much of a plan to speak of, both in the more traditional architectural sense and the scheming variety you're used to. Temporal dissonance here is boundless. The layout treacherous and unstable. Jesus makes it point to show you a weird swirly image that portrays no information at all. As a guy who has leveled his fair share of estates, it's quite literally all about location in these scenarios. You're going to have to use that to your advantage if you want to make it out of this mess to begin with. Out of this mess with your heads and asses properly attached to where they belong. Luckily for you, you've got ways of handling any such mishaps. Yes, reminisce about your traitorous fifth member. Oh god. You wish you could head back to the diner and see Tom one last time. Maybe finally get a nice hunk of that humble pie the board keeps saying you should try. Tom always knew how to heat it up best for you. You wonder what happened to him every now and again. One night during a routine visit, you said, "Hey Tammy, fix me up with a double atomic on the racks, will ya?" And he never did. Dealer's been fixing your stiffies ever since. Not that you're complaining, you really can't beat the hard stiffy dealer gives you. Well, you know he'll never be better than Tom. Make a silent pact with yourself to never let that slip. There's an odd amount of dick jokes in this section. Yes, open a chat room to communicate with enemies. You politely inquire where you find some of the so-called experts that side-winding maggot weasel claim to have lying in wait for your arrival. Jeeves is nice enough to supply you with the guest book. Fucking hell, it's alternate shufflers all the way down. You can end up going against any number of these off-brand probabilities before you find your target. Seems like a bunch of surrogate defalcators are fond reviewers of this place. Wait, is that some wacko version of you in the mix too? Revolting. Can't wait to show these dupes what the true Jack can do. Time to find out. SS, ask how to navigate alternate universes with door deficiencies. Least from this goddamn room. Where can I find a room converter? Jeeves directs you to a shopping tab for the door-related goods and services. SS, browse the enticing shopping tab. You've got no idea where any of these are going to take you in this Thunderdome of bad decisions, so it's good to at least have some options. There are a number of doors on display available for purchase. You go ahead and download the first ones you can find. In doing so, however, you increase the hotel's property value. This is the exact opposite thing you wanted to do, but sometimes personal sacrifices must be made in the name of progress. Property value, 223,112,031. SS, download a knife. Bart! I thought that was my cursor then. Like you said, trying to make use of your ordinary methods is pointless. You can only rely on the artifacts you slowly accrued from them in order to deal damage to anything here. Each of these artifacts have extremely chaotic properties once activated, relevant to their anomaly source. Gaudy tools to have stuffed under your fashionably cuffed sleeve. You see there are a few for sale. This one looks so bad it must be worth your while. Your combo word here is an avid practitioner of cheap tricks like that. It's free of charge too. You don't have to miss up on a score like that. Barbie's Horse Adventures is pocketed. So they're basically like Juju's from Homestuck. The doors are downloaded into your cue card. Take up another 8 slots on the right. However, due to the clerical error in your inner monologue, the recipient of the horse game was never specified. It is instead promptly dispatched to someone else in the hotel. Great, another MacGuffin on the loose. SS, read small letters on cue card. You repill for your bill of goods from the confines of the cue card and take a moment to admire the friendly presidential face of Mr. Clinton. May his distinct sense of government wrangling and saxophone prowess follow him back into the collective unconscious. What the f... Seems like you have enough inventory to work your way out of here. With the practical artifacts you preemptively assembled, you feel more than ready to handle any situations that may or may not get a little too hairy, literally, metaphorically, or otherwise. Worst case scenario, you can always use your train whistle and summon Thomas to bail you out, but that's a last resort. He is your definite one-way ticket to freedom. You also have your Night at the Opera vinyl. That one's not an artifact, more like a good luck charm really. You like to play it whenever you're close to pulling off a long con, and you plan to do it again once you bleed this cash-bloated funhouse dry, and hightail it out Shenanigan Hellzone for good. God damn do you love Bohemian Rhapsody. SS, open new subtly appearing door. Just out the first door of the stack and wander into wherever it leads. This looks familiar. You've now entered the Green Room, or as it more precisely known in this universal hopping what-if scenario, the Felt Manor. If you read Homestuck, you know exactly where this is and where this is going. SS succumbs to the overwhelming urge to break a clock. You are now Charmed Defalcator. CD Intimidate. You pull out your memorandum and don the Elvis costume in order to get a conversationally dominant edge. It gets real quiet all of a sudden. I'm sure you've managed to build up the most suspenseful atmosphere a Party City clearance section can buy. It also might have something to do with the fact that you're now deaf until you take the costume off. You put your proficiency to use with the compromatic rationale technique, coughing up a bit of illegitimate evidence to get some information out of these fine-looking Prospitian fellows as quickly as possible. Can I remark that it seems like these boys here got caught in the throes of a malleable, beefcake-limbed passion with your good pal Stretch. It'd be a real shame if this went public. Bad for him, bad for his publicity, bad for the publicity of countless others you'd be ashamed with his burly beauty. It's bad publicity all the way down. How's he going to all work some kind of trade over a lovely pool of cosmic spaghetti? CD, who are these fellas anyway? You don't have a clue. That's part of the reason you need to gather your intel in the first place, silly. Finding any sort of concrete information around here is the opposite of a walk in the park. When's the last time you even managed to do that? Feels like a lifetime ago. I should check that you're pretty sure that you needed to get that one thing's location or something. The name's on the tip of your tongue, but you got distracted picking up all the fun-looking artifacts during the debrief, and only half listened to what the boss man was saying. And then you just had to read the hotel brochure on the right here. We have a 12-star service. PCD, why are you so filled with so much aggression and hatred? Your fellow lively stumblers voted you out 3-1 on the subject of getting tied up by this little pipsqueak. This happens every single time you have a disagreement. Democracy, like democry of your passionate and absolute belief in straight monarchism, I don't think you can take much more of this. CD, ruminate on fellow team members. Actually, just thinking about the brochure brings to mind how nice this hotel is, aesthetically speaking. What is that like the pictures? Such a lovely place. Such a lovely place. Such a lovely face. You contemplate signing the guest book before you had to get out of the dodge and leave behind a shining review. It seems like a good use of your heist time. Intellectual property value, infinite. CD, the silent treatment, huh? Their mouths are moving in a silent display of blatant ridicule, the lack of sound ringing louder than any spoken jeering or cajoling ever could. They think they are so clever. Well, they've got a big storm coming. You have mastered the art of lip reading as part of your specialised skill set. And also you have a means of making them talk. It's a matter of honour after this slight. I'm going to turn this song down because it's got lyrics. CD, use an artifact to drive your point in. This you pull out the Lincoln Mestorial from your memorandum, depriving yourself of another interested parties who may or may not be watching of any further card-related inventory japes, like a petulant fiend. Shame on you. After making sure your songs from the Big Chair record is intact, you still stretch onto the slip and slide. So you better start hearing some good vibrations in no time flat, or you won't hesitate to shunt your mutual pal off to where nobody can ever find him again. You apologise to him profusely inside your head. You further elaborate by saying you've got a real hot foot ready to give Stretch a swift flight of fancy down this here contraption. Simulant sycophant says, "Hey now, maybe we should all just take a breather and calm down, little fella. Just need to get this worked over a bit of harmless fun stage for a nice photograph." So you don't remember asking about his last trip to the post office. Your fine demonstrator asks if you're doing okay, because you seemed a little fuzzy ever since you politely requested to tie them up, please. See, that's enough about your feelings on de-establishmentarianism. Holistic Bustler pipes in and adds, if you'd like, he can get you a cool glass of water in a jiffy. You throw your hat on the ground. How dare he start lip-syncing the lyrics to I Want It That Way when you're afflicted with working duties? That's one of your favourite tunes. You're simply going to have to show them who runs things around here, which is you in this very specific set of circumstances. CD, show him who's boss. Stretch boldly rides the slip and slide down to a random point in time on a random alternate probability, so that you may have a new place to call home. Tears of regret well in your eyes. What had to be done. Setting an example has never been so painful. You can only hope that wherever he ends up, he'll be put to good use. Oh yeah, it links to a Homestuck page. CD, eat all the spaghetti to establish further dominance. While you're busy not listening to the command that was specifically posited to you, it bounced right back into the second best option, the clawback declarant's eager hands. He's chewed his way through the group's self-imposed binding. You're not aware that he and his team are the most dedicated fiscal investigators this side of the alternate continuity, so he has the upper hand when readying his counter-proficiency against your unlawful deeds. tells you that within his probability, he's renowned for his extreme attention to C and Ds. Here's that this CD is about to make sure that C D is C and D so hard that he's seeing fellow Ds, delinquents, behind a set of Bs, bars, for an eternity. You're not, because you don't hear any of that. PCD then ceases to de-exist due to a case of eruptive internal bleeding from eating all that cosmic spaghetti like an idiot. His troop mourns. Look with a lady tonight. Give them a round of unheard and disgrounded applause for their valiant effort at legitimate theatre. Something's ever really changed. CD. Call the defrauding dealer and tell him the news. You find yourself calling back to being scathing sharper instead. You take to the ring in action a few minutes past where you left off, narratively speaking. After desecrating a sufficiently satisfying amount of clocks, you ran into a fleet-footed gangrene ghoul. Didn't take you long to show the finicky bastard that your newly acquired weapon, Time's Arrow, is always pointed forward. Oh my god. You then body-snatched his hat. It'll be a subtle, clear message directed to your less handsome doppelganger whenever you inevitably run into him. You are the #1 jack around these parts. SS, toss out another door and never look back. No fucking way. This probability is actually working out in your favour somehow. You're not giving up the ability to use weapons of a stabby persuasion and damage torsos anytime soon. This is right. This is good. This is the way the world is meant to be. Actually, is this still the hotel? Or have you just been transported to some sort of pocket contained within it? You never cared to learn how much these blasted mechanics go beyond what is immediately useful to you, your plans. Oh well, you're sure you'll find out eventually. Regardless, someone's property value seems to be fluctuating. Property value, $222,998,332? Maybe? SS, check the time. Missed one. SS, preemptively be dying. Fucking eye twitch. Weird timeline bullshit list. Trace and Finn have turned yet another one of your fun games into a betting session against you. I think that just because the dock is currently missing in action, they can keep using you as their alternate timeline guinea pig. For the sake of the gang, they said. You know better now. These are also Homestuck characters, by the way. Very minor, but still characters. Everyone always tried to cheat you. Everyone has always tried to cheat you for the last time you tell them again. You've got to jump to a timeline where everyone besides you winds up dead. Oh, they scoff. SS, seek out more bodies to perforate. SS, see if your artifacts still work here. Looks like your anomaly detector has found you another oversaturated green ticket for a round trip to tacky-suited Bozo Murder Town. I'm having a sip of tea. So what, it's been uncomfortably hot over here in the UK. Took a cold shower yesterday. Oh, it was the best thing ever. Your new soon-to-be-dead acquaintance scrambles for a special pin to save his fuzzy tail. It's a gamble. Seems to realise that this isn't his usual Jack. Well, it's the only chance he's got. She knew there are two Jacks in the manor, leaving the mechanics to inscrutable logistics related to their time circumstances. Dai is thus split into two alternate versions of himself through his actions. The first eventually jumps back to his initial timeline, only to be later killed in a different one as per usual. The other self-fulfills their original plan, although it's kind of a weird solution really. Bit of an oddity among oddities, even for this place. Bottom line is, you can't be killed in an alternate timeline when you're suddenly working under the constraints of reality, where there are no alternate timelines to begin with. Okay, basically what's saying, Homestuck was all about alternate timelines, and Vastera has one timeline. You're certain this little detour will have absolutely no consequence in any future scenario you find yourself in. You start wandering down the hall right here, right now, in the present time. Everything continues to have always been viewed in the present view, due to a lack of instances where time-lateral thinking was a necessity in your life. It's like you always say, the past should stay in the past and the future should continue not to be premeditated by silly and obvious fake prospects. The rules are so clear. These chowderheads are going to wish they were never maybe ever birthed up for real after kind of putting you through this whilst being somewhat associated with them by proxy, potentially. HP, materialise onto the physical plane. Well, it seems that Bones is here now. Hustle gruffly spouts that he's glad you were able to make it here. See that the concierge didn't exactly give much of a choice in the matter. He shrugs it off and notes that a good coincidence is a good coincidence. You ask what's so good about it. Bones relates that he was actually able to dig up where the anomaly source is and more or less figure out what it does. He got you some information about this probability and has been pretty busy leveling the various rooms in order to try and weed out the guy's location. You tell him that's swell and all, but what's the catch? There's always a catch. Says that he doesn't have long to chat. The source only lets him pop in for a few moments at a time, but this specific alteration is one of the major ones keeping up the place standing on its wonky legs. If they kill all the punks here and collapse the iteration, the rest of the joint may very well fall with it. You're not gonna lie, the easier option though. This piques your interest, but Bones says he's got a book. The versions of your group bumming around have always done a bit of the cold-blooded heavy lifting, so all you've got to handle is to follow through. I can't read. He gives you a full list of the felt blemishes and pale limitations to bump off. Adjusts the rose on his lapel and tells you that he'll be fiddling with shit until something works out. Give his douchebag monster double some pleasant regards. You say you'll do it with extreme prejudice. Bones disappears back into the source with an unseen thumbs up. SS, keep a death tally, perhaps an itinerary of sorts. Oh, like a homestuck. SS, what's that easy option? Oh, of course that's what he meant. No wonder he said you wouldn't like it. She's always connected to you, no matter who you seem to be. It's uncanny how similar this feels. I guess reliving your past is possible after all. If you've read Homestuck, you know who he's talking about. HB, consider being SS. Puzzle Boxcars, continue being scaly and slick, long enough for him to become defrauding Droog. You'll be doing your part in searching out answers from bizarro versions of yourself, but with no real luck. None of these fools know why they're here either. It's a good thing your tap fishing technique ensures you're always able to find the bar. You couldn't resist the appeal of a break from this insanity. The overzealous Shabaroon has decked the place out just for you. She doesn't know about the little incident at the last Christmas party. No carapace off your back, though. You did what you did. Can't change it now. I'm pretty sure this one's got lyrics too. Yes, it does. DD, review grocery list in case of temporal transport. You don't do your own shopping. You have people for that. Oh my god, is that a fucking... That's a Homestuck leitmotif. Oh my god. DD, check out how the devaluing of the hotel is going. Okay, this song is okay. There's some lyrics I'm not a big fan of. But, I don't know. Have you seen this place? It's a dumpster fire, and every attempt to turn it against you only furthers its gaudy agenda. You don't have to do anything. It's worth it on its own. Subjective property value? $0. My voice sounds weird. DD, want some tasteful music? We've already got some Beggar's Banquet rolling on the nearby Walkman. Sympathy for the Devil is a feeling you are very familiar with. DD, what are you drinking there? It's some kind of mythical omni-drink called Lovecraft, probably in reference to regrettable universal constant hentai professional Lovecraft. Not exactly what you'd call being in good taste. The guy was/is an overrated mooch on top of other things. But speaking strictly in terms of flavour, it does/doesn't have any/all to begin/end with. Whenever you take a swig, you feel nothing/everything cascade over you, all at once. You can handle it though. Stuff just goes right through you. You've had better/worse. DD, reminisce about Tom. Tommy. Reminiscing doesn't actually dull the pain of losing him, but you have to try and feel better somehow. You've never been good at letting go, only at pushing in deeper. Oh, it's unfathomable how deep you could get if you let yourself keep pushing further. He was alright. The fucking... cock joke. DD, call one of your people. Cock joke. You ring up CD to ask why he hasn't been responding to your backup requests for the past 15 minutes. It seems like he can't hear you for some oddball reason or other. You can probably take an educated guess as to why, but you never care to keep up with the intricate details of the rest of your gang's inventory. You're not there, Nanny. Can't assume that he's dead. You'd have made a show of it, with Bones on scout detail and Sharper doing who knows what. You're stuck on your own, at least until you're inevitably found. DD, sit back and relax. I think I'll probably be able to get through most of Intermission 2 Side 1 in this. I think. Probably not. It's about like 300 pages or so. Or 250. If that's the case, so be it. Let him come to you. He'll be ready. You've got the window to... Can I read? Yeah. You've got the window to the side covered, and use your protractor and Quentin Tarantino doll to barricade the entrance. You're not going to think back to their effects. You're trying to unwind when you still have the chance. DD, recall the last 15 minutes. Exactly 15 minutes ago, you were saying to yourself, you gotta be fucking kidding me. If I had to give DD a voice, it'd probably be Robert De Niro. Because you've just run into a pure self-seething Shesmu, a thief of blood. Oh. PDD, riddle him with Pez. What the fuck? You've dealt with these types countless times before. One of the perks of being able to retain your memories from every past cycle. Once they hit this stage, the only way to get rid of them is to destroy their bodies so thoroughly they become unrecognizable. The most practical way to achieve this is usually through immolation, which you've had the pleasure of testing a couple of times before. Sadly, you're a bit lacking in flammable resources at the moment. This won't kill him, but you hope he's got a sweet tooth, because when these candies hit, they have a tendency to rot your teeth out. Oh, gee, ugh. Pretty sure teeth are a lot bigger than that. And they just grow back. This is basically Vastera's equivalent of God tier, which, if you've read Homestuck, you'll know what it is. Oh, what? He just summoned a fucking stand. My stando, wormwood. I don't know. Maybe I'd call this one blood on a dance floor. I don't know. Suffice it to say, that hallway ended up getting a fresh coat of paint. Your shoes also numbered the casualties of that fight. It still needs one hell of a spit shine. Maybe some poor rough and alternate of us would have been willing to go for the extra mile, you thought. Didi, recall last 14 minutes. Your recollection of the encounter's minutiae is abruptly stopped in its tracks. Looks like Shesmu's on the move again. Coming up quick too by the shakes of it. Make this boy up and running. You don't have long. DD, attempt to bend narrative to your will and become CD. Is that a fucking Monsters Inc. reference? Narrative bends over backwards and contorts its newly flipped gaze to hustle bones. You've made it to the hotel's anomaly source, and slowly but surely figured out how its absurd features to your how to use its absurd features. I'm struggling to read this bit so much. Figured out how to use its absurd features to your advantage with the power of asking Jeeves. You're able to destroy some of the more inconsequential probabilities by running their logic into the ground in various ways. Your deductive reasoning skills may finally be having their time to shine, but your primal lust for retribution remains. This is the last time you play stupid games in order to win stupid prizes. Your tech dude menacingly blocks the path for any potential interlopers with his sick moves. HP, what's your current opinion on time travel? It takes a lot to make you feel unapologetically neutral about something. You have a bit of a reputation for being a passionate guy. As passionate as someone lacking a legitimate soul can be, anyway. At any rate, you don't have any deep thoughts on the subject. It's just such a flimsy fake concept as far as you're concerned, but you're sure if you got better acquainted with it, you could learn to hate it immensely. I'm not going to click that link. HP, eat the anomaly sauce. You haven't unlocked the eat the rich technique yet, idiot. You've got to pull off way more phony write-offs before you can even come close to making it to that branch of your proficiency hole. Oh my god. No taxation without degradation. HP, and manipulate hotel structure. Okay, I'll be 1 second. Okay, back. Oof. If it hasn't been made abundantly clear at this point, this place has no consistent rule set to follow. There's no way to discern any objective truth in this malleable butterfly effect fever dream. And the way you can hope to best this swarming ninny is by tearing the place apart to its bare foundations, taking their toys away and forcefully shoving them into a corner. Which is a shame. You'd much rather rip their potentially fuzzy head off and shout a thesaurus's worth of expletives into their bare esophagus. Sharper's already on the major task at hand. As long as he can get over his deep-seated resentment of it for his old flame's visage, he can take out both the structural backbone and their goons in one fell swoop. HP, have a gander at your business partner's progress. Peek over at the nearest set of monitors and catch a glimpse of what the rest of your posse is getting into. So you've no need to look at this room. The monitor shows you a clip of Cartoon All-Stars to the rescue instead. Seems like Dealer is trying to get himself out of a particularly raw deal at the moment. He doesn't know it yet, but whatever you're about to do is going to be debt-worthy. You hope he has a few blank checks on hand. HP, find a way to help DD. You continue to do what you've been doing this entire time, mashing buttons and turning knobs at a furious pace. Come on, damn you! Give Papa a new pair of whistles to blow! Ooh. Despotic Deimos, the Mage of Mind, has said that trying to get to the bottom of this mystery is as pointless as trying to swim out of the bottom of the lake with cement shoes. Shasmo insists that they carry out the ruthless interrogation of these Deimos knockoffs regardless. Hyperbolic Behemoth, the heir of Heart, concurs that they should split, while cracking his knuckle so hard the resulting reverb could bust through solid rock. He remarks that there's no point in setting themselves up for further failure, best to find a way out of this dump. Shesmu states that it's the principle of the matter and he won't have his gang disrespected like this. Besides, they took out 8 other players with ease in their session. They can sniff out a single lackluster, puny pawn. Griphead Dionysus, the Page of Doom, which, fun fact, is my class spec, exactly, asks once again if he can open the Barbie Horse Adventures box that he found. They all tell him no in unison. Now's not the time to unleash unspeakable evils, we've been over this before. Dionysus looks just the tiniest bit disgruntled at the continued rejection. Phooey, he grumbles under his breath while kicking at the floor. Yeah, I'm a Page of Doom. Did you know that? I did. It's weird that I actually have a character who, like, has my class spec. Considering how, like, I don't know. Well, Page of Doom, in my personal opinion, is fucking dangerous to a session. Deimos starts to sift through the various actions he would take in a similar situation, assuming that Dealer is following the hotel's logic to the best of his ability and is long since prepared for the encounter, which he knows he would. He must be using an artifact from this place. These dummies aren't even moving, so maybe the artifact in question is something akin to a gizmo chia pet that can create and copy lifelike topiaries of an object or a person of your choosing. But he's pretty sure it's that specifically. Also, there's still blood tracks on the floor showing where the real deal skulked off to. Given the facts, they probably stumbled right into an overly silly diversion. This is the perfect moment for your mastery of hitting random buttons to come into play. Just love the inherent dramatic tension of the setup. It's like it's been handed off to you in a silver platter, like a thread that's been pulled taut and is ready to snap, like the best Broadway romances. They're always so full of sudden twists and turns with then off-the-wall resolutions, not unlike what you're doing here. With off your introspective tendencies, you have an ass to save. HP, create a Deus Ex anomaly. Hungry Kibbles are suddenly deployed in the middle of the bar. Since the Pure Shufflers were the closest available participants when the game was set, they must now play it to completion. The hippos beckon, somehow locking them into place. Dealer successfully escapes with a few nasty looks trailing behind him. You can hear the marbles rolling and the plastic chomping as he makes his way out. Dealer says he's grateful for the save, but that won't hurt him for long. Hungry Hippos is a merciless, fast-paced game. He's had his fair share of run-ins with the thing for one of Sharper's schemes, and it never ended well for him. You tell him not to worry, you're about to set him up with a door that leads into the probability that Sharper is currently trying to take down. Those purity punks will have no choice but to follow. You doubt that their powers will function as intended over there. Even if they do, once the alteration implodes in on itself, they're welcome to stay and chomp on the dusty remains of what's left for an eternity. Dealer copies. Okay, this section is a bit wordy, let's get real. But I still enjoy it, because I like words. Bones sets you up with the door to the green room. DD, check green door for monsters. You find precisely 2 of them. Cans politely ask DD to stay in the Hotel California. Meehooks puts up a clear do not disturb sign for you. Oh. He cleans your clock so hot that your consciousness is flung into a surprisingly accurate depiction of a relevant memory. You don't know how the details of his wacky time-bending fist's properties, but you can assume this is the closest that he can get to putting you into the next fiscal quarter. It would usually punch you a week into the future, I'm pretty sure. Looks like you're remembering the first time you ever got an artifact, quite a few sessions back. One of these multifaceted skeletal brats handed you a Viewmaster they bought off a talking pig or something. You're a little hazy on the details. Whole system was busted then. But you definitely remember not liking what you saw. Oh. Pleased to meet you! But what's puzzling him is the nature of his game. Deedly abruptly cut back to the SS and undermine the tension. What is going on here? You cut back to Charm Deflacator instead in order to raise the tension. It really does feel like some hallways go on forever, probably because you've been walking down this one for the past half an hour or so, after you've helped with the final send-offs during a funeral. We were still so embarrassed about that bit of miscommunication. Still, you think you managed to patch things up. Always good to go for a nice walk to shake off the musty stench of past death. CD, turn around. Perform your customary measure of stare etiquette by checking behind you and... Who in the blazing saddles are these loons? CD, activate Hunger Tech, Burning Love. You engage with one of your most powerful stances to ward off the following interlopers. Like a rattlesnake shaking its tail, the thrusting of your hips give off a fearsome energy. Yeah, give me some of them bean sprouts. Yeah. Hustle Deflacator tells you to knock it off, you mangy palooka. They've been trying to get your attention. He tips his hat to you, but in a manner that shows just how steamed he is. This must be a sign. CD, take off that godforsaken Elvis costume. You take off the Elvis costume because you can't see that it's making this fella quite upset, and you're all about respect. It's a core value of the group. Also, you forgot you even had it on. And just like that, you can now think clearly again. As clear as an empty room with no windows. CD, converse with CP and HD. Charmed Bones asks you you're the real Charmed Deflacator. Just reply that you're pretty sure you're the only one, maybe. Depends how you look at it, really. Hustle Deflacator groans and tells you that he's been screaming until his pipes got sore for you to pay attention to him. He heard from another set that you were here to settle the score with. You shush him gently. If he says their name, they'll be onto them. HD says that he's more than willing to help with the cause. In his universe, they got the better of his gang and decided to swap their blood around for the hell of it, which, as everybody knows, means you're actually swapping personalities. You're a little perplexed by this and ask CB what his blood type is. CB says AB positive. You said that's a negative on your end. So AB negative, he asks. It's not, you say. You're positive of that. So it is positive. He thinks he's got it. No, you reply. Oh, he muses dejectedly. No, it's not O either. Okay, he says with a solemn resignation to his voice. Okay, isn't a blood type, dingus. HD tells you to both shoot your candy cobs. I love that part. See, double check your stash of artifacts. Tell them that you might have a way to help with their situation a little. It's a well-known fact that shufflers don't mix with other shufflers, but goddammit, these folks didn't deserve it. CD, switch their faces back onto their right bodies. You use your grabber to try and rearrange their faces, but that trick doesn't seem to be working for some reason. You offer to give them their original arms back as a compromise. They're alright with this. CD, check voicemail. Oh right, your phone has been buzzing in your pocket for a while now, and you never care to look. Huh. Dealer left you a bunch of messages. You try to call him back, but you don't think he has any service wherever he is right now. The dial ends with a long string of garbled noise. You get Bones on the line instead and tell him about your current situation. He fills you in on what everyone is doing and adds that some detestable frogmen from the Green Room have been taking out all of the doors that led to it. Jeeves is now out of stock. He was able to get Dealer's limp, punch-tossed body through another door, but he needs someone else to lead those pure selves into it so they can be taken out. They won't take the original bait now, and he can't do it himself because he needs to keep watch. HD volunteers himself for the job, saying that he can round up the other boys and make quick work of the matter. Bones sighs. He'll trust that since Deflacator vouched for him. Oh, is it? Did it stop? Yes. Oh, this is a good track. You know, you still have your stubborn slide. If Bones can tell you when to stop, you could theoretically get yourself into the Green Room and meet Sharper and Dealer there. You need a lot of slip to slide on, though. Bones tells you that the staircase you're at doesn't end. It should suffice. I'll check the hotel's map and let you know when to hop off. He then hangs up on you and leads you to it. CD, give HD the Elvis costume. Oh my god. Look at them. You allow HD the privilege of wearing your Elvis costume for his perilous trek ahead, so he may blend in as you. You also swap hats with him for the hell of it. He's yelling about how he can't hear with this thing on, and you and CB just laugh at how preposterous that is. What a guy. After waving him goodbye, you begin to check your own. CD, ascend infinite flight of stairs. You're sent to a far point on a stairway to heaven in order to gain maximum velocity. The slip and slide extends itself to match your current height. CD, descend stairs. Whee! You immediately realise that you can't handle the strain of witnessing everything / nothing that there is / was / could have / would have / should have been at such rapid speeds. The mental breakdown that follows is as intense as it is unavoidable. Let's go back to DD for the sake of plot. You're kind of in the middle of what you consider to be the ultimate jack-off. He can wait his fucking turn. Oh my god. Jack-off. SS, accuse the imposter of identity theft. So this is the Jack from Homestuck. You assault everything they're about this 2-bit half-wit gangster wannabe. The way he dresses, his hat, his occupation, and worst of all, his utter lack of dignity. You follow up by asking what his name is so you can etch it on his epitaph later. MCSS, you're the ace of spades around here. Prove it to him. Oof. Oh god. You give your admittedly quite dapper double a taste of your mob mentality with your no horsing around technique, while he's flapping his now further exposed gums. Spade's slick, you tell him. Only name of madness. Someone ought to have taught this guy that one Jack's murder doesn't equate to another Jack's pleasure. It's easy math. SS, there's something in his eye. Uh-oh. Before you're able to get your really good and original quote in, Mr. Plow barrels through his own property's walls. Doesn't seem like she's here with the rest of them, though. Works for you, I guess? You guess? Property value? Whatever. SS, do a synchronized dance number with yourself. Call it dumb, call it clever, but you can get odds forever. The guy is only doing it for some doll. Tattletale seems to be only more amused by the display. Scarface helpfully informs you that they've caught wind of what's going on around here. Squealer McGee, or Clover you guess, told them about what you discussed in your little rendezvous and had gorilla fists, or cans you guess, take out the doors in the manor. This fucking track. On top of sending slick crews to her, he stops his descriptive monologuing to ask his comrade Sharkbait. You're not calling him Finn, that sucks. What the hell is shuffling around for? It's an inappropriate time for shuffling. They just got on your case about it. Say then cover hotels. Jaw says that Railroad Map doesn't understand what's going on. Something about your future trails end here. Something needs to try and avoid whatever is about to happen. You can only imagine that you're going to eventually be responsible for this. Good. MCSS, think back on what got you into this mess. You're having a hard time remembering. Better check with someone who was there. We asked Rump Roast, or Sawbuck, as you would call him, if this Free of Spades is familiar to him. SS, pick an artifact, any artifact. Oh god. So only two of you are struck by the same idea. You definitely chuck the California raisins at Sawbuck, or Rump Roast as you would call him, and they made just enough of an impact to sting. Oh, dead. Needle Nose sidesteps a little too close to the centre of fire as you and other Jack disappear somewhere. Both he and Threadpair meet their respective ends. MCSS, add another Jack to this jack-off session. Oh my god. Oh god, it's fucking Problem Sleuth. You're taken way back in time to a dark era. You really don't like to think about your weirdo fifth member. An extra addition to the ranks is always a bad move. SS, off Jack. 3 Jacks are a little overkill in your opinion. Your anomaly detector is going haywire. So you start thinning the numbers by promptly walloping this past slick off the airship, killing 2 unscrupulous crows with 1 metal contraption, or so you would think. You're hoping the other Jack wasn't bite the causal bullet, due to one of the other fancy paradoxes you've heard so much about. Seems like your calculations were a little off base. Time math continues to be worthless in application. Your remaining illness doesn't look very happy with you right now. Past slick value, worthless. Pass/pressure dialectic, minus 900. SS, bond with MZSS over mutual love of green torsos. You're not a big fan of this recent motif that involves you being severely outnumbered outgunned. You got so caught up in your spur at the moment idea that you forgot what you should be doing, which is getting the hell out of here. You need to find her in an internal affair. Maybe Green Grimace over here knows of her whereabouts. MCSS, take your turn in this bit in Knifetown jive. Oh no, he doesn't. So if you aren't going on anywhere near done yet, pull out your red herring and jab in the general direction of Sawbook, assuming that it'll hit its mark for one narratively compelled reason or another. Back to the future, the three of you go. Well, the future relative to what just happened. This is still technically a different point in the more recent past for you in particular. P.S. Try and figure out what in the old hell is even happening anymore. You have long since given up on that dream. SS, hit the jackpot. That's my command! That's the one that got in! That's the one that got in! The one I typed. Yeah. In the thing bar, I put hit the jackpot. I'm very proud. You decide to put a pin on that amazing phrase you just thought up and swear you'll put it to good use later. It is brilliant. I can't believe that in some fashion I influenced the comic. I'll never forget that. This is arguably a worse scenario than the one you just left. By the looks of it, you've crashed the aftermath of a meeting they were all in, but you're not paying any mind to these swamp clowns right now. You found out who you were looking for. Just sight of her is enough to make your muscles tense up. There's a note and a revolver on the table behind you. Dear Mr. Sharper, fuck them up. From a man who shares your affinity for ending this fruitless probability. Fucking scratch, man. Hello, boys. Who wants to go first? HP, tell CD to hop off. Sorry, but you need to get back to being dealer before that part happens. You have more than enough time to recollect yourself since your last scuffle, now peacefully stationed in some sort of coffee shop probability. Your manager has told you to go back to your shift. These caramel macchiatos won't blend themselves. Can I get a caramel macchiato? Dude, double check the stock before the next rush comes in. You bust out the re-economic briefing and see what you have at your disposal to get out of here. There's your protractor and Quentin Tarantino doll again, but you don't think there's any gravity in need of redirection or sizable feet in need of falling. You still have a few of your Garfield pest dispensers left, but that's more than a distraction play. And of course, your trusty Viewmaster is right there as always, but simply looking at other probabilities won't do much for this current predicament. Oh well, this is surprisingly tame and pleasant compared to what you usually get from their antics, so you really can't complain too much. Your manager sure is giving you the stink eye all the way from the back room, though. Better play you along for now. Didi, ask who the next customer is. After calling out your station is running again, you wait for someone to come up to you and order a cup of joe. Get the ball rolling on the service worker front. Fuck, it's Karen. You've had your fair share of run-ins back on Durst, regrettably. Judging by the overwhelming stench of cheap perfume, she's retained her department store job even in this alternation. As well as her tacky wig, unable to cope with being bald like the rest of you. She always thinks she's got your number. Well, this time the tables are turned. We ask her what she'll have. DD, deal with Karen. His face. Karen starts spewing an order that could surpass the nearest county line in length. Assuming that there's another version of you that actually has a job here, he sure has got his work cut out for him. You heave a sigh and that much is enough to get her threatening to have your doty manager write you up for insubordination, even though that's not what that word means. DD, engage in fluffy over-the-counter romance, fanfiction style. That's the opposite of your style. You like playing a little hard to get, usually with people of a sharper persuasion. Folks tend to go after what they can't have, you've learned. As it happens, in this specific case, you don't even have to fake the lack of availability. There's an old saying that goes, you can always look at the menu, so long as you eat at home. The phrase doesn't account for the fact that you know damn well how to cook, if you catch your drift. HB, contact DD and purchase a hot beverage. Bones pops onto the scene and cheekily asks if you can whip him up a dark roast. This guy really can be pretty smug when he gets down to it. Tell the Weisenheimer you'll fetch him his drink if he tells you what your next move is. Also, there was a person ahead of him you still have to take care of. He says you better make it snappy then. He's a paying customer after all. You have to see the goods just as you finish whipping up Karen's order to the best of your ability so you can get started on Bones, but just takes hers instead. You hand through a map of the hotel in return, mark down with a number of probabilities you're going to be running in through in order to make it to the green room. He'll set you up with the door right quick once he returns to the source. Make sure to keep your tracks fresh. You're going to have company and they need to know their way around. Try not to break any of the logic and these probabilities too hard before they get here, he adds. That's going to be their job. Bagels goes back from whence he came. Didi, kill your manager, become the new manager as is the custom. Ugh. You need some fresh blood in order to make tracks across your next destination, so go ahead and put your manager out of your shared misery. Now that's proper insubordination. Things remain stable, so this doesn't seem to be breaking any major internal rules. If you've ever experienced a hard day's work in the service industry, you would know that this is to be a pretty common idea. Didi, casually sneak a few cookies into your pockets. Just for that extra pinch of added insult to injury, you go ahead and purloin a few of the pre-packaged concessions. These things are incredibly expensive. You can't help but admire the lack of moral integrity it takes to nickel and dime your own customers despite monopolizing the market. Maybe the cookies aren't the only thing you'll be taking home. You've got a few strip mall pigeonholes that can bring this knowledge to. Karen's not going to like that, but if you cared about Karen's once, you would have given her that damn coffee already. Property value, 222,998,310. DD, take the door to get out of here for comedic effect. You wander into the next probability. STBDS. Pardon me. Defrauding Sharper it is, fresh off helping your cohorts round up the pure shufflers after their game of Hungry Hippos. The group is now in hot pursuit of you, under the impression that you're the real dealer. Pardon me. These mooks tossed all kinds of shit your way. Their wide array of powers only slightly outmatched by your long, athletic gams. It's very intense and flashy, and would have undoubtedly been extremely cool to see, but this plotline does need to start wrapping up. You've only got so much leeway. You cut yourself a bit in the chaos. Put some of your excess blood of on your shoes. You've got way too much running through these veins anyway. Oh, it was a universal donor after all. You've managed to reach Aldina's steps through the hotel with Bones' guidance, making the same prints up to the door that he would have headed into the coffee shop probability. Pure shufflers don't even look around because Shesma was too busy bossing them straight into the door. They bought it. He'll leave Bones a short message when he gets back from giving Deal the word. HB, correctly guess who you're going to be next. You correctly guessed that you are still Hustle Bones because you never stopped being Hustle Bones in that first place from your perspective. You're about to check your cell phone, but a dead man has somehow found your hideout, ruthlessly desecrated your tech deck, dude, and spat in the face of all your whole deer. He's going to regret this. Enact vengeance through the use of overpriced beverages. And give Dead Alive a taste of Karen's order. The blood has all rushed to his face. He's looking a little rare. Squeak. You're just going to have to cook him up a bit longer. The little string bean squeaks out of his clogged pines. You don't want to mess with him now, he says. He's been graced by his new omnipresent dictator, one of the hypothetical, and they've set him up with a fancy new set of one-time use pins for his juju. You can't assume that that's somewhat similar to an artifact, but worse, given the ridiculous name. A few pricks in this stall and he'll slaughter every single version of your lousy gang that he possibly may have ever existed, and start a new life under the freshly acquired reality-bending employer. He then launches into a switchy, power-crazed laugh, and that's about all you can take from this one-sided conversation. HP, see the funniest shit you've ever seen. You smack Cabin Fever with your Mayor McCheese action figure so he settles down. Whenever someone is hit by it, they turn into a fresh cut of meat. It's been rearranged into a nice looking porterhouse steak, well done. The downside of the maneuver is that you're kind of starting to smell like salami. Staked. HP, shame him eternally by stealing his hat. You put on a slightly soggy headwear. It's a little roughed up, but you think you're looking pretty fresh. You wear it better than he did, at least. Not like anyone is going to notice you having a little fun on your own, right? HP, avenge your deckmate by getting you back to your tech, dude. Deflacator still has ways to go, and the others have their hands full. It seems like you have the luxury of being able to slack off before you need to destroy this contraption. You go ahead and confiscate Tenderloin's weird doll, just to be safe. The fool still doesn't comprehend that his warped sense of power doesn't work that way in here. Watch. You'll pull this pin and nothing will... Fuck you! I think he hates time travel now. I can't shout because mum's home. Whew, I'm running out of breath. Make a desperate bid to ring up Deflacator and tell him, or anybody else who will answer, about your situation. Alas, there's still no reception between different alternate probabilities, and ground beef told you that each of these spins are only good for one trip. You didn't take any spares. Officially, you are now AWOL from your station and stuck here with everyone else. HP, make appropriate countermeasures. We're actually getting pretty close to the end of this part. You whip out the watercraft scandal and rifle through your remaining supplies. Most of these are for heavy-duty violent use, like your soccer boppers and Cinderblock. You also have a Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt, but that was one nobody wanted to be stuck with. Oh, and you wish you were here, vinyl. Though right now you kind of wish you weren't here. Before you can get too sad about the shortage of appreciation for your lackluster wordplay, you find yourself being accosted by more delirious moss heads. They are drawn in by the alluring stench of cold cuts, you presume. Well, if they're coming over for a sandwich, they might as well call you Jimmy Johns, because you're about to give them a free for two with Socko and Boppo at Freaky Fest. SS, fuck them up. Oh god. The room has gotten into a ballroom blitz with no proper musical accompaniment. It's all gotten really out of hand, much like the nice little gift of a revolver that you should be unloading on this lamentable Harrowdown right about now. Ezra, take the key and unlock Snowman's heart. Snowman is the woman, by the way. You grab the gun and begin to line up your shot. Oh gee. He tells you to watch where you're pointing that thing. Someone could get hurt. Uh-oh. Oh god, his eye. If things were different, she might be willing to let you pull that trigger. That's what she's meant for. But here, she doesn't need to have inhibitions. Doesn't need to stand by, hands constantly tied, as each new regret piles up in front of her. That includes you. That includes a lot of things. Disdain twists your face. A look that makes it tug harder on your neck. You surmise that the only reason you're not dead yet is because she's getting a kick out watching your reactions grow more visceral. And the rest of these guys here wouldn't dare try putting her in the line of fire. Let me tell you what's high class. Well, that's just a lie. Clench what remains of your teeth and let her know that she doesn't know it. You've danced this tango with her before, many times. SS, say a cheesy one-liner despite your asphyxiation. She ain't made for spades. SS, ricochet your bullet. Actually, one shot like a crazy play of billiards. The cube bullet bounces around every which way, searching for the best torso to careen into. Crowbar, reminisce about better times. Here you were, expecting to be released from all the shenaniganry sometime within your current lifetime. Guess that was your first mistake. It's just a different setup than the usual drove nonsense you find yourself associated with. You can only guess the kind of mind-bending issues that led to this exact outcome, but you won't, because you're not looking to get shot. You've got a little while longer before you're allowed the luxury of being taken out. The work is never done. Your trusty juju breaker gets into the swing of things and knocks the bullet back, hitting Sawbuck with ease. It was probably going to land there sooner or later anyway, by virtue of a convenience or otherwise. SS, take Snowman on a temporal excursion via Sawbuck. Beefcake Sprout doesn't register who exactly enacted the deed, so it drags you, her, and Lucky Sevens in. Not sure she's coming with you by proxy if it's just because she was attached to it at the time. Oh well, onwards to the future. HP, Clobbertech, nose to the grindstone. You beat the Cinderblock down on Sleeping Beauty's head. It appears to do some damage, but either this guy doesn't register it, or he's taking an unusual long time for the guaranteed blunt force head trauma to set in. Overall's trying to get at you, but through trial and error you have found that your sock puppers detach your hands when put on. So you just let him try them on for size. With that sheet time out of his grasp, it was easy to get cheaper by the baker's dozen to bed with those sweet, recurring nostalgia dreams the Sonic t-shirt provides. He's probably well acquainted with the warm memory of chewing on his greasy fingernails by now. Plot threads begins to converge. Well, this is certainly no jack-off. Well, this is certainly no jack-off, but it's something. Did he get to safety by clipping out of bounds? If you're following the map Bones gave you to the letter, apparently the secret to this place is that all these probabilities are linked by a common theme, each other. In retrospect, that makes finding exits to other probabilities much easier. Your eager stalkers doing the data work, collapsing their stability and thinning the number of doors is also doing wonders to help speed things like this along. What song is this? Oh, this one's got lyrics. Oh, the volume's still down anyway. Eventually you wind up entering the last remaining door to the green room. Pissing you're inside some kind of vault. I don't know the lyric. You don't have enough time to question the logistics of how that's possible on account of the little gremlin from earlier being way too eager to start babbling. He says he's one of the only ones who knows how to reopen the safe. He can do it inside, outside, even from across the city if he has to. But there's only one way he's going to make it happen for you, and that's if you're able to solve 12 of his infamous time riddles in a row. The usual cap sets at 4, but he's charging you triple interest for all the doors he and his very good friend had to bust because of your silly little antics. You stop the urchin and tell him that you have a riddle for him, actually. Smalls is intrigued by your offer and tells you to go for it, pal. Finally, you would know the answer to any question you could throw at him. So you ask, what's flat, green, and able to walk? DD, finally use Quentin Tarantino doll and protractor. You up the gravitational direction in this room with your protractor in order to steal Dealweed up against the back of the lock. Luckily for you, gravity is a relative concept that cannot be gambled with. The Quentin Tarantino doll says something problematic before raining down a flurry of feet upon him. DD, group up with the rest of your associates. Okay, now something is getting somewhere. I need a drink. Pure shufflers arrive. Uh-oh. Pure shufflers arrive fashionably late. Part of you was hoping that just them being here would be enough to rupture this probability too, but everything else about it is already so goddamn weird that they fit right in. MCSS, call for backup. Slick has successfully regained his crew by jumping through time and collecting them, one by one. He seems to have adopted your strategy of beating the living daylights out of the cherry turnover you guys were messing with, until a desired outcome presents itself. Fucking poser. Present/future, insert funny name for Sawbuck here, keels over from the sustained abuse at last. Cans, make it a party. Hey, do you do parties? There you go, now that's everyone left that matters. Wait, where the hell is Defalcator? CD, where in the hell are you? You've achieved a sort of zen-like state. Many eyes have been opened, thirds, fourths, and fifths, and there is a piece within you that you've never known before. The chakras, aligned as fuck right now. Chakras as bliss to my linguistic forces. The whole enlightenment thing has gotten kind of old at this point, though. You've been swirling around in this kaleidoscopic void for what feels like ages. Books somehow still chafing. These colours are seriously hurting your eyes, and Bones is taking far too long to get back to you. Even spiritually developed men have their limits, damn it. You think you'll take your chances with oblivion if it makes your ass stop hurting. Off you go. Okay, another flash. Lasts for quite a while, actually. Until Intermission 2 Side 2. I think we should cut ties. Now that there is Repeton's deadliest ass. Swear to God. Oh shit. Very fitting music. There's a lot of... Oh, I just noticed a lot of artifacts. Well, she's dead, and if you've read Homestuck, you know what that means. Yeah. Oh my god, the fucking reality is crumbling. See? Oops. SS, how do you intend to get out of this one? You need to find a passage back to the place you need to find a passage back to the place you were before. There's still one door left out of the ones you downloaded at the start of this raid. The others must have been destroyed somewhere along the way. They've been majorly occupied. The peanut galleries have some fight left in them, eventually with nothing else to lose or to gain. They say if they're all going down, you're coming with them. HP provoke crowbar with an advanced technique. Irrelevant 3D Dorito hat charges in your direction at rapid speeds, which sets him up for your special anti-avoidance technique. He barrels into your large figure and pays the price. The Midnight Crew's mob mentality is no match for your flawlessly executed plan. SS, go for broke. Toss a Hail Mary against what remains of the ground in the form of your lava lamp. The expanding foam starts to overtake the room at a concerning rate. As you slam the door shut, not one of your best escapes, but it's all you've got. You'll not be thinking about what just transpired here ever again. Green room rupture. Any and all values and clocks erased, infinite hypothetical sources wiped, scofflaws of varying kinds removed from public consciousness eternally. The conceptual use of vendetta itinerary also dissolves with the rest of the probability. Oh wow. You all wind up back at the source. The hotel looks worse for wear, and the door you just went through is now ruined, either by the foam or structural implosion. So many of the probabilities collapsed. Thanks to the green room's destruction, there's just one less thing to take care of. Bones hands you the crowbar he took from that one guy and insists that you do the honours. It's only fair. Take a second to muse to yourself if using this will even work, but end up figuring out that you don't really care. Plus it would be a waste of convenience. You just want to run this place into the ground already. Yes, I should destroy an anomaly source with crowbar. What the fuck? We have absolutely nowhere left to hide now. By destroying this, you'll finally be able to get the answers to your most pressing questions. First one being, why the hell did this thing turn into Barbie Horse Adventures? Didn't that get sent somewhere else earlier? CD, open Barbie Horse Adventures. Do you forget it's drawn to the case if under a spell of a siren call? His eager hands pull the plastic case apart, clean in half, like an enticing Stevie grilled cheese cross-section in a Velveeta commercial. Both the dealer tried to stop him, but it's far too late. Oh no. A slew of unfathomable omens ravage what remains of the hotel, tearing it all asunder. No! SS Endure. We're almost done. You somehow survived the cataclysm thanks to honestly, I have no fucking idea. What you just witnessed was an awe-inspiring amount of disturbing, grim, and terribly out-of-place imagery. Everyone's dead except for you and you know who. But at least the property value is down. Objective property value, negative $0. SS, search for your arch nemesis. Oh, that water tastes a bit funny. The only thing left standing is that disgusting portrayal of family-friendly entertainment. It takes a second for you to notice, but upon closer inspection you spot a handle on the side of the frame. Oh, you've got to be fucking shitting you. SS, enter portrait. Ah. Okay, that's a funny reference. Well, they were holed up in here the whole time. Do you feel the usual stench of duplicitous irony wafting over the portion of hard shell where your non-existent nostrils would be? If you'd just gone with your gut, you wouldn't have had to deal with any of this. Alas, that's a different probability meant for a different iteration of you, and I read it null and void. I don't even care about that, the specific boring little thought experiment resulting from that. SS, watch the running footage. Did I turn the volume back down? I did. What is this? What is all this? That's white noise. I used to recognise these rubes anywhere. The same 12 pond squatters that you can never manage to shake off either moon, always taking up some prime real estate. Pavlovians they're called this go around. Much like your kind, this handful of suckers just keeps coming back. In different forms with different personalities and looks, but always the same something that carries over. Earlier in this session, one of their planets got knocked all the way out here into the furthest ring. The inherent irregularities that come with being on the outskirts of material reality let this piece of shit find residence here to begin with. Still no idea what they find so interesting about this plight. Even if the details are different, it always leads to the same ending. Whatever the plan ends up being, no matter how many tweaks are made and scenarios accounted for, there's no chance. You've been around the block enough times to know. You just work here, goddammit. In case anyone doesn't know what this means, every universal recycle, they get resurrected. So, all these guys got resurrected into the main 12 trolls we know. And obviously white noise changed its look, as it usually does. So, who's this other person? You found no prize, and most of all, you haven't found me. Or so you thought at that moment. You still have no idea who I am and why I've done the things I've done. To what inscrutable ends are my misleading actions justified? What a stupid thing to say, I would have replied, were I unseen already. Instead, you hear a familiar voice. Hey there, Jackie baby! The call sounds out from a slight distance. Okay, I'm just gonna... Close enough to stop you in your tracks. Far enough for you to not quite believe it. Tom, you say? You saw yourself around. After you tried so hard to purge your moments together with your mind, it all comes rushing back to you. Later the situation is enough to make you fall flat on your ass, starstruck. I really can't imagine why. I thought it was obvious. Who you were actually talking to, that is. What the fuck? But you're still looking too deep, trying to find something that's not really there. Oh, is old Tommy not doing it for you? Let's try something different then. How do you feel about this one? Still not enough? You're so hard to please. You always want so much, but nothing's ever good enough for you. Maybe it's my tone. Guess it may have come off pretty abrasive, now that I think about it. We'll do something a little more casual. Really, I should be thanking you. It's kind of scary moving into a new neighborhood, you know? Maybe if I disagree with your methods, you sure know how to throw me a one crazy-ass housewarming party. The jitters are all but gone. Can't say I've ever had something like this before, a friend like you. Everybody else has always tried to hold me back. So here's to you, Mr. Noir. Ugh. You've really impressed me. Not many people would be so willing to bring me back up when I'm this far from graves, but you give me more than I could ask for. I'm a bit of a stuck-in-their-own-head type, but I have to say, it does wonders all this good company. All this make-believe company. Does it matter, though? Jesus. I don't actually think it does. There's so much wasted effort spent looking back on the past, again and again, mulling over ghosts and what-ifs. We just keep doing it. I can't help but wonder what the point is. I mean, I do because I don't really have much of a choice. It's all that slips through the cracks for me. What informs these maybe futures that I play out? What about you, huh? What do you miss from back then? You can tell me. What close like that? Like, gosh, you came all this way just for me! Least I can do is indulge your shoddy fantasies for a spell. What do I want? Oh, gee. No, no, no. You have it all wrong, Jackie boy. I've already got what I wanted. You gave me a good show. An escape from the everlasting stringent tedium of this universe-spanning bitch fit full of dread, regret, and teenage tears, ugh, that neither of us can catch a break from. Something you could do for me at this point that would ever surpass this humble blessing of good tidings you've placed on my lap? Well, okay. Maybe there's a couple of things. Let's start with the easy one. Say my name. Now, say my name. I want to hear you loud and clear. Come on, you know what it is. You've been holding out on me. We're in it together, you and I. The other one's left. It doesn't have to be such a big secret. Say it! What's my name, Jack? Oh, Jesus Christ, that is one fucking panel. I'm actually gonna replay this song. You're the fucking devil is what you are. No? Oh. As much as I appreciate the dramatic setup, that's not even been a thing for ages. Did you, like, miss the memo or something? We've been leading each other on for so long, having our fun, yanking our chains. I can't believe you glossed over that one detail. Look, I know we like to do this pithy little spy disco routine, but it's a bit low even for you. For future reference, you should pay attention to what other people want to be called. Great praise due, there's a lot of themings or whatever packed into the assertion, but let's resent the association. It's hokey. I want to give the benefit of a doubt, though. Just pretend you weren't even super duper paying attention. Asshole. Anyway, like all credible sources, I prefer pseudonyms. Hello. So, get it into that thick, hard-shelled skull of yours. It's mimesis. I would ask you to tell your friends, since I doubt they cared enough to remember either, but, you know. Man, that always killed my buzz. Who is this? Back to the matter at hand. This was such an ordeal. A very, very, very stupid ordeal. Let's do it again soon, Not like a real soon kind of soon, but soon in the context of where this conversation is going. Don't want to start acting like all of it was a waste. Only most of it was. Big difference. Here's the deal. We've got parallel problems. Shocking, right? How could that possibly be the case, I bet you're thinking? Well, don't you worry your pretty little head over the details. Is that a fucking Spider-Man reference? There's business to get down to. Because we do have some business here, don't we? We've had to think master the art of give and take. Just think, I kind of imagine Mises having like a weird ethereal voice. Like, something a little close to, kind of like Bill Cipher, I'd say, but, you know, less like Bill Cipher. I give you an artifact, you take it. I give you my address, you come busting down the door. I give you a probability, you rupture it. I'm going to give you an offer you can't refuse, and you're going to accept it. Now, there's a number of ways you can respond to this. Fairly limitless, actually. That's what I like so much about this place. There's no right answer, just a party picking of interesting ones. You even get to share them with someone, face to face. It's like a state-of-the-art concept, but it's so thrilling being heard by others, being seen. It makes you feel a lot more substantial. Know what I mean? When you stick to the shadows, people see you more as a tactical advantage than a bona fide personality with opinions, hopes, and dreams. I'm more than just the disembodied voice of an understudy. I'm also a lovable face. Can you put on a t-shirt, coffee mugs, and who knows what else? I have stage presence. Ugh, that's what you went with, huh? Seriously, can't believe this was your big idea. What was even the plan here, Jack? Oh god, it's Thomas Wishall. Oh no. They are not amused. You kill me and save your hide for another one of your lousy high-level techniques. We're heading back to your purple ball and chain and retiring for a few years. So time for another go around the carousel. Not sure if you've noticed. Oh. But you don't have any control here. No, you ever did. There are no rules. There's just me. He turned into... They took... Oh god, sorry. Oh wow. And they just fixed it up just like that. You're only still alive in the first place because I want you, Jaxalot. I think you owe me. You know what they say, fair is fair in love and expository surrealism. So maybe you should listen to what I have to say. Instead of just projecting. Hahaha, get it? Tough crowd. What is this? This place is full of those types. Boring, flat, no sense of humour. I don't usually go out of my way to look into them. Got pretty specific tastes when it comes to who I associate with. Oh, don't make that face, you're included in the bunch. I'm assuming you're familiar with those whippersnappers that hog your moonlight, yeah? Of course you are. But despite any personal opinions we may or may not have, they are, in fact, of grave importance. Almost all of it, if we're being real. Sadly, I don't get to intermingle with Destiny's Child ×4 under most circumstances. Since you've got an attentive auricular canal now, you'll have noticed that the key word here is most. See, I've done my research. Well, my influence this time around was a bust. I have a hunch the next try might go a bit more in my favour given what I'll have to work with. Well, there's no way to predict what's going to happen with 100% accuracy, but I've made some educated inferences. Crowd, please take a look at the screen. Ah, there they are. The future player of the hour. Now, this one's going to be the type to make sacrifices and break conventions. I can feel it. I dare say they've got the makings of a fan favourite. What I want you to do is find them once they wake up and bring them to me. I want to have a little chat with this kid. Find out what makes their clock tick. You'll know when you see him. The time-bound always start ahead of the snooze race. Why would you go along with this? I'm glad you asked. Oh, the tongue. Oh god, my laptop is fucking boiling. Far be it from me to not be blunt. As much as I talk about your choices, let's cut through the bullshit, Jackie lad. It's all smoke and mirrors for you. An illusion of, on a more existentially dreadful level than what we're dealing with in this theatre. You always take what you can get. In all probabilities, there are constants. Certain facts have given concepts to persist. Every rose has its thorns, every traveller has their roads, every sharper has its crew. And that's just it! You know cronies, my man, one of the very constants I'm talking about. Not the only ones by any means. I'd wager you're not exactly variety hour material. I'd win, by the way. You shufflers are consistent. I'll give you that. Consistency does get sort of stale after a certain point, Wherever you go, there's a certain concerning lack of variables. A fact that translates to every other version of you I can think of. But how quaint, depraved, or utterly nonsensical it all gets. You never change along with it. Not past the surface level. You have to brute force yourself into standing out from the rabble because you simply don't stack up against the competition. You guys are professional static characters of the highest caliber, serving a singular purpose, to cause problems and die in the process. Just like what happened here. Oh. I think that's such a shame, don't you? There's so many other stories to be told. Once it don't rely on bogus standardized formulas, once it actively give options to those who inhibit them. And so we are left with a question. Is there anything more to Jack Noir? A trick question. Doesn't matter, because I'll make sure there is. Oh my god, it's freaking Evangelion. I actually watched that not too long ago. I have very mixed feelings about it. I said that last episode, didn't I? Although it takes work, however. I would know, as storytellers has never done. On the bright side, that makes yours a pleasure cruise by comparison. Close to home and best of all, close to me. Like 2 ships in the night loaded with hostages, we'll make an exchange. You get me who I need? I emancipate you from your unseen shackles. Yeah, just let that sink in. I actually don't know what this means, by the way. In fact, you can sleep on it. Oops. Bit of a rough landing. Sorry about that, sweetums. Now. Is that a fucking Nerf gun? That's 2. I'm not usually the type to trivialize the death of others. It's just a very somber thing, the cessation of existence. Plus, fidelity just doesn't appeal to me. It never has. And I doubt this is your mental dictionary's definition of fun, either. Unless you're the ones who's seizing someone else, of course. But you always come back, right? Right. So that's why I'm going to indulge myself a little. Cutting to the chase is a necessary evil sometimes, especially with Daddy Dearest knocking on the door. Ugh, don't you just hate it when your folks drop by unannounced? Don't blame good old Whitney for gearing up to wipe the board clean. Anyway, I'm a magnanimous entity. Least I can do is let you choose how you want to go. Which one will it be, Jackie? Oh, come on. Are you really going to be like that? That's not the most boring thing you could have done. We'd have had this made this into a whole capital M moment. I'm grateful to the bitter end. Can't believe you're pretending you don't trust me. It's the exact opposite lesson I'm trying to teach you here. Opposite loyalty to the cause only takes you so far. Okay, you want one last fucking hurrah riddled with indignation? Fine. First, I never did anything for you. Wow, you shot him in the fucking head. Yeesh. I'm going to have to clean up my dramatic execution cliff later. Maybe this was a bit much. I mean, watching people get ruthlessly slaughtered and toying with corpses is one thing. Actually, busting out a real-ass gun and just lodging bullets into brains. Kind of a crack choice when juxtaposed with my usual MO. Hey, Naya, Stinker. I miss him already. Until we hook up again, Sharper. Wanna know the weirdest thing? I never even forced the guy to do anything. This was all on him. Oh. Isn't that the beauty of free will? In the end, there's nobody to blame but yourself when you fuck around and get attached to a nasty little twerp. I guess I'm my cue to wrap it up. Back into the melodramatic dregs I go. I do have a final request, though. White noise! Hey, it's been considerably longer than a while. I'm sure all the postcards you sent my way got lost somewhere between probabilities. There's only so many alternate post offices you can to cry at. Bet you weren't expecting this side after the extensive cutaway, huh? Consider this an olive branch. No more silent treatment between us. Actually, if you don't mind me being candid, you always do expect far too much from your games and your plans to begin with. It's kind of a problem. And everyone's collective burden to bear, sadly. So, how about you just quit sitting pretty all by yourself and admit that you still need me. You can only go so long pretending your shadow is right behind you. See you. End of Intermission 2, Side 1. Huh. And that is where we'll end off, actually, because we've read the whole Intermission Side 1 this episode, and I think I'll leave it there. So, next we're going to be going to Intermission 2 Side 2 with a few familiar faces. So, look forward to that, and I'll see you next time. Bye.